So you may have noticed that high street coffee at the moment is incredibly expensive and isn't getting cheaper anytime soon. So what's the reason behind this?
So your two main exporters of coffee in the world are Vietnam here, who export Robusta mostly, and Brazil, who export most of the Arabica in the world. Now, Brazil has recently been suffering a very, very rainy season, so a lot of their crop has been damaged. On the other side of the world, Vietnam has had the opposite problem. They've had a heat wave that has also destroyed a lot of the crop.
Now you may be thinking, well, I get my coffee beans from Africa or other South American nations. Why does this affect the price I pay? Well, because those two are the two biggest exporters, they actually have a large amount of influence on the global coffee kind of price index, and they really control a lot of what happens there. So the London Coffee Index, which is where most of the coffee is traded, global coffee is traded in the world, is at its highest it's been for a long, long time. So by having to raise their prices, the two biggest exporters, a lot of kind of competitors or other coffee exporting nations have had to do the same or are doing the same to match that coffee price index, as well as also being kind of affected by global warming and other climate issues.
And there's also the big issue with the Middle East, which is the problem here is that Israel and the Palestinian kind of territories within this area are at conflict, and a lot of the countries around are involved in that. I'm not going to go into the political issues about that, but essentially in order to support claiming support for the Palestinian territories, the Houthis, who are a group from Yemen, are attacking ships that are traveling through the Red Sea and then through the Suez Canal, to kind of stop trade going through to Israel up here, and to try and effectively force a ceasefire, or so they claim. So the issue is that anything that comes via this trade route, so you have Vietnam will ship things up the Red Sea and through the Suez Canal to Europe. Africa will often ship things via the Suez Canal, and so on and so forth, because the Cape of Good Hope is a nightmare to get around, and is dangerous. So this transport route is now very costly to kind of defend and keep open.
So this broader trend has affected a lot of soft commodities like coffee and cocoa, and those prices have rocketed up. And last week, like I said, the Robusta futures, the London kind of Robusta futures, so that's where Robusta beans are traded globally, like a stock market effectively, hit a record high last week, for I think like $3,000+ for a ton of coffee beans. Now that's a lot of money. So that cost is being passed on to those importing it. So they are passing that cost on to roasters and buyers. And then that affects your kind of lunchtime flat white. So with global warming affecting how much crop there is, with the trade routes being dangerous, kind of becoming dangerous, and just kind of a general cost of living crisis globally as well, coffee is expensive. So yeah, don't be surprised if the price of your latte doesn't come down anytime soon.